Doing today. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of go over and we're going to start our ISM book today. I know that we needed to start it eventually, so let's just get it done today. So what I've done is I have given you, remember, I've already given you your one, and then we glued the other one to it. Okay, so what I'm doing today is I'm saying let's go on to the brand new one, no matter if you're done with the other one or not, doesn't matter. So open up your ISM book. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with today, or better yet, this week. So I'm going to go ahead and change it over to where you can actually see it. So my table of contents, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the 25th. E-learning day 6 is where I'm going to start, okay? And then I'm doing 325 reading, 73 to 79, your one-pager will be on the first page. 325 answering questions 42 to 49 on page 94. That's going to be your second one. 326 reading 282 to 288 one pager. That's going to be on page 3. 326 questions on page 288 7 through 13. I'm going to say that's probably going to take 2 pages. And now I'm going to do balancing equations on page 6. So I'm just going to go ahead and I went through and I counted and I labeled everything. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do today's lesson. Now, on Google Classroom, you actually have this sheet right here in a Word document. Well, yeah, you don't have to print it. Why print it? So what the instructions were is the instructions were for you to get your ISM book, and then you're going to do 10 problems. I'm going to start first by doing 1 or 2 problems with you to kind of show you how to do it. And then I'm going to let you do 10 more. Okay? So I want to make sure. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is in my book, I'm going to put balancing equations. Today is, let's see, today's Friday, 3/27. And this is day 8. So I'm just going to do that so I'll know what I'm doing here. And so I'm going to start and I'm going to do question number 6 first. Okay? So you got to be really, really careful and make sure you write down exactly what it says on the paper. So for my number 1, I have Na plus O2 yields Na2O. All right, I'm going to check mine again. Na plus O2 yields Na2O. Okay, I got it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to figure out this here is the reactant. This is a yield sign. I know it doesn't look like a yield sign, but it's an arrow. And this is the product. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a line in between the reactant and the product. Based on the law of mass, okay, it tells us that nothing can be created nor destroyed. Based on that information, it's going to tell us when we are taking 2 elements and putting them together, okay, and forming a reactant, we have a product. And as you can see, we're taking 2 things and we're bringing it into one compound. But nothing can be created or destroyed. And the best way that we can do that is we have to count how many atoms there is. So, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to write down what my elements are, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you, go ahead and do it just like I'm doing it here. Start with writing down what's on the left side first and go from left to right. And no matter what it is on the right-hand side, still copy it that way. I'm here to tell you, I know some of these problems that I'm doing and you're going to be doing today is simple, but there are going to be harder problems for you, and it's easier to kind of keep everything organized, okay? So, right now, Na, I have 1 here, and I have 2 here. Remember, that's a subscript. It's attached to an element, and it says there's 2 of them. Na actually has 2 here, and oxygen doesn't have anything but 1. So if we look, Na over here is smaller, O's here are smaller, but this is what I'm going to tell you. Only because I've done it a while. I know that whenever I change this product here, it's going to change both of them, and there's no reason for me to do it separate first. I would do this side first. So the first thing I'm going to say is, how can I change NA to 2? Well, if I put a 2 in front of here, excuse me, an O, sorry, O to 2. If I put a 2 in front of here, what that's going to do is it's going to change my O to 2, but it's going to change my NA to 4. Remember, subscripts and coefficients you multiply. So then I look on this side and say, wait a minute, it's not balanced, so I need to change my NA to 4. Well, guess what? Put a 4 in front, and voila, you have it balanced. Miss Sloan likes you to put a box around it so I can see that you say it is finished. Okay? So I'm going to choose another one. So I'm going to do number 7. Okay? So I'm going to do number 7 on the paper. Remember, you cannot do the ones that I'm doing, but you need to have them in your book so you can show me you watched the video. So, for number 7, it says blank N2 plus blank O2 yields blank N2O5. Okay? I'm going to look at it again. N2 plus O2 blank NO5. Fantastic. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down my variables. And I'm going to write down how many I have. Nitrogen has 2 because there's a subscript. Oxygen has 2 because it's a subscript. This says there's 2 nitrogens, but there is 5 oxygens. Now, I know that I want it to be where it's going to be an even number. An odd number is never good. So, to be able to change this 5 to an even number, I know if I change this and I put a 2 in front of here, that's going to be my oxygen's 10, isn't it? And 2 times 2 is 4. Okay. Over here, how can I make my nitrogens 4? Well, Miss Sloan tells me I can put 2 in front. That's 2 times 2 is 4. How can I change this to 10? Well, if I put a 5 in front, guess what? That makes it 10. There is my balanced equation. So let's choose another one, and let's do a harder one. Let's do number 12. Okay? So number 12 says blank AlOH3 plus blank H2CO3 yields blank Al2CO3 3 plus blank H2O. Okay, so let me make sure. Let me see if I've got it right. Number 12. 12 says AlOH3 plus H2CO3. Yep. Al2CO3 3 and H2O. Okay, I've got my formula right. Draw my line. I have Al, I have O, I have H. There's another H. I don't have to put it. C, right? That's another O. I don't have to put it. So then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Al, O, H, and C. And Al right now is 1. Oxygen is 3 times 1, which is 3. And this has 3 over here. That's going to equal 6, right, guys? Hydrogen, 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. I always like to write it down so that I make sure I did everything. And then carbon, of course, is just 1. Over here, Al is 2. Carbon is 3. Hydrogen is 2. And oxygen is 3 times 3 is 9. Plus 1 is 10. Okay? My ALs are smaller over here. My oxygens are smaller over here. My hydrogens are smaller over here. And my carbons are smaller over here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, all right, let's see. Let me change the AL first, okay? So if I put a 2 in front of AL, that changes that to a 2. Oxygen, 2 times 3 is now 6, right? 3 times 2 is 6, plus 3. 6, 7, 8, 9. That makes it a 9. Okay? My hydrogens are 2 times 3, which is 6 again. And then my hydrogens over here is 2. That is 8. And my carbons are still 1. So let's see what I got here. That is 2. Oxygens is 2 times 3 is 6, plus 3, 9. Hydrogens is 3 plus 2, nope, that was old. Hydrogens is 2 times 3, which is 6, plus 2 is 8. But I want to make my hydrogens an even number. So since I want to make my hydrogens an even number, I'm going to put a 3 here. Let's see what happens. Hydrogen is 3 times 2, which is 6, right? 6 plus 6 is going to be 12 now. Do you see that? I'm doing hydrogens. So here we go again. This is 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 3 times 2 is 6. That makes it 12. So this one here needs to be 12. Oxygens. 3 times 3 is 9, right? 9 plus oxygens over here, which is 2 times 3, which is 6. That's equal to how many? 15, right? Yep. 15. Let me check. I'll check it again to make sure when I get over here. So the next thing I want to do is I don't want to change ALs. I'm good with that, right? Carbons, I'm going to wait for. Well, let's see. Hydrogens, I need to do something with hydrogens because listen, I've got 2 there, I've got 12 there. So if I put a 6 in front of here, 6 times 2 is 12. There's my hydrogens, but it's going to change my oxygens too, isn't it? 6. So my oxygens now are 6 plus 3 times 3, which is 9, which is 15. Perfect. So then the next thing I want to look at is I want to look at my carbons. So my carbons on this side, if I just put a 1 here, my AL stay the same. My carbons are going to change, right? So 3 plus 1, which is my 3, right guys? So I'm having a problem because over here, oh, here's my mistake. Look at here. I did the 3 here, but I never changed my carbons. 2, 15, 12, and 3. There is my answer. And now I am done. So, can I tell you, practice makes perfect. So go on this page, find some, put them in your book like I have here. When you get done with them, you're going to have, what is it? I did 1, 2, 3 of them. You'll have to have a total of 13 problems that you'll have to turn into me. So my thing is, practice, practice, practice. If you can't get the answer you don't like, just go ahead and skip that one, do another one. Remember, put a box around it to let me know that you finished it. And I hope you have a good day, and I definitely hope you have a good weekend.